Fox 10 Talks, everybody. We are 15 seconds away. Stick with us. We're going to be talking to a member of the Flagstaff City Council on this controversial camera vote. Coming right up. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Fox 10 Talks. I'm Ron Hoon, and we are sure glad that you're going to be hanging out with us, whether it's for the next 5 minutes or we have plenty of people who are in the 2-hour club. Maybe they get that other cup of coffee going just to settle in, join the conversation. Buddha's on. Darla is on. We love our regulars. Improvan is on. We love all of our new commentators. It seems like almost on an everyday basis, we do get some new folks who are discovering Fox 10 Talks. So I'm Ron Hoon, and we have plenty coming up for you this hour, including the very latest information coming out of Flagstaff. We are going to be talking with a member of the Flagstaff City Council. Controversial vote on shutting down all the cameras that police were using to read license plates. This comes at the very same time that we see a lot of questions being asked on the East Coast about why there weren't more cameras in the city of Providence, Rhode Island. Could that have possibly helped police solve a crime that so far, as we approach nearly a week, that they still have not been able to do it. We're also keeping an eye on the Cleophus Cooksey sentencing. That's going to be happening this hour live. We will take you to that courtroom, one of the most notorious serial killer cases in Valley crime annals. That is coming up, as well as pennies selling for 17 million, 16 million. What's going on? We're going to talk to a coin collector here in the Valley who's going to give us the 411. So we hope you can stick with us for all of that. But let's get right to our top stories this morning, because the council had their vote. And they voted, this is really interesting, unanimously to say no more to all of those license plate reading cameras that they were using, the police department there. And it came after the police department was trying to address privacy concerns and doing things along those lines. So, but at the same time, the mayor is out there saying, look, first and foremost, this is no reflection on the police here in Flagstaff. In fact, Becky Daggett said, I think that all council members believe this technology can be useful for solving crimes. So, and there have been several who've been very supportive. So why did all of that change? Here's some of what was getting said when the meeting itself unfolded.
It's not a question of trusting our police chief. It's much bigger than Flagstaff. We do not support AI mass surveillance as the current federal administration is gathering and weaponizing data.
Without tools like this, I believe we will see more unsolved cases, more offenders who aren't held accountable, and ultimately more crime.
First and foremost, it is no reflection on the Flagstaff Police Department. I think that all council members believe that this technology can be really useful for solving crimes. It's just that there are so many questions about the company, Flock, that we thought, let's cancel it right now and let's keep getting some questions answered.
I'd like to move that we cancel the contract.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you.
Okay, so there you hear as it was all unfolding in Flagstaff, and it's led us to our poll question. We're doing it early this morning, and in a moment we're going to get to Dave on the Dave Cam as we show you some of those pictures from downtown Flagstaff. But here we go, and if you haven't voted yet, we would love to get your opinion on that. So Flagstaff decides, turn them all off, every license plate reading camera in the city. Should all cities follow suit? There's the QR code. What do you think about this? 25% are saying, yeah, they're a total invasion of privacy. 59% are saying No, we need more cameras. Hold on, that number just moved. It's 57% now. No, we need more cameras to help police solve crimes. And then 15% are saying some cameras are okay, but let's not turn it into a police state. Celeste is here bright and early here. Just the first few minutes as we're getting rolling. Celeste, let's see. Let's call up YouTube. And
all right, let's
here we go.
Here are your numbers and your percentages on YouTube. So we've got just shy 700 votes, 699 here on YouTube. And Flagstaff turns off those license plate reading cameras. Should all cities do that? 46% of you say yes, they're a total invasion of privacy. No, we need more cameras to help police solve crimes. 23% of you say that. And then some cameras are okay, but let's not turn into a police state. That's 31%. This was years ago, Ron. Do you recall here in Arizona when I believe it was under Governor Jan Brewer, and we had the cameras on the freeways?
Oh, yes.
It was a pilot program.
Let me just jump in. It was Governor Janet Napolitano.
Oh, it was Napolitano. Thank you.
I remember because the criticism at the time was that she was doing it to help solve the budget crunch, that it was going to come on the backs of drivers who were going, I think, starting at 9 miles an hour over the limit, or 10, something like that.
Yeah.
And they were hoping to bring in millions. Into the coffers. But go ahead with your point.
Well, thank you for helping me with that. I knew the name started with a J.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep.
We love Jan Brewer, by the way, here.
Yep.
Okay, so... But the crazy thing was, it was a pilot program. It was like I think it was a year or something like that on the freeways, and people were not happy about it. I think it was Redflex was one of the companies, or the company that they worked with.
Right.
But eventually they got taken down and taken off the freeways because people didn't like the pilot program. And in fact, I don't even know if they made that much money off of it.
And also, I think one of the biggest arguments against it, here as we show you some of those pictures from Flagstaff, one of the biggest arguments against it, Celeste, was that, okay, if you're going to do that, why not, if you're going to have enforcement, why not do it with actual DPS officers who are out there doing such a great job trying to keep people safe, and focus on different areas? Because within a day or two of a camera going up along a freeway, everybody figures out where it is. They slow down, and then they speed right back up.
Yes.
Why not do concentrated enforcement? Pick an area on the 60 for a few days, or pick an area on the 17 for a few, or the 10, although you can't speed on the 10. That thing's a parking lot.
It is.
That you're missing real opportunities for law enforcement to have interaction with the public. Because who knows, in terms of crime solving, what might be able to be done in that area.
Well, the reason, and I just looked it up, there was an NPR article, and it says this was back in 2010. In February of 2010 on NPR, they had this article. So there were 36 fixed cameras in the Phoenix area, 40 mobile cameras. They were on the freeways. And apparently, according to statistics, what they showed, at least in terms of this situation that took place years ago in Arizona, now those cameras have been taken down. They claimed that highway fatalities dropped 25% statewide, 81 fewer deaths, but it still was not, that much of an increase in revenue, at least according to this article.
Okay, so let's go to Big D. Here he is early. Oh, look at this here. There he is. We see you down there at the bottom of the camera.
We're gonna.
Let's work on our
We're
posture.
gonna get you. Maybe we can get a booster. Like those boosters we get for our kids when they're 7.
What do you see him, buddy?
Lots of good comments as always. A lot of really interesting. Simone right now is coming to adjust the camera.
She's coming to the rescue.
Simone, let's do it. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Booyah.
Yeah.
All right, let me read a few of these. KC4CVH says, by definition, there's no privacy in a public place. Sam Reed, 6010, says it would be one thing if the cameras were owned by the police department or the local government. However, all these cameras are owned by Flock and merely leased out to institutions. Flock has no oversight, no permission, no boundaries. If you thought Google invaded your privacy, this is just as bad. And finally, Ed Sedlick 6827 says, stop doing sketchy stuff and you won't have to worry about the cameras. I have seen murders solved by cameras like this. Really interesting takes here. Keep them up, guys.
All right, Big D, thanks very much.
That's actually a good motto in life. Stop doing sketchy stuff.
That's for sure. All right, we're going to go straight on to our next story here because the images coming out of the state of Washington, Celeste, are really pretty shocking. So they've had to close Highway 2, which is one of the main routes between my old hometown of Wenatchee and the Seattle-Everett area. And, you've got Skycomish, but on the other side, as you get closer to Leavenworth, the road was literally eaten away by the flooding. And they're saying it's going to be months before people from Seattle can get into Leavenworth, which is just this beautiful Bavarian town that's so popular at Christmas time. There's a workaround, but it's going to take quite a bit longer. These are some of the other pictures, just in terms of what they're concerned about now. There's more rain in the forecast. It's unbelievable, this atmospheric river. When I was up there the other day, it was, just over the weekend. I think it was Saturday with my wife, Renee. We were talking about how the Green River, remember that the Ted Bundy case from years ago, the Green River killer case? Look at this flooding. Anyway, the Green River was right on the verge of spilling over its banks. At that time, that was last Saturday, they've received so much more rain.
Wow, look
and
at
just
that
look
truck.
at these vehicles that are stuck.
Wow. I'm actually looking at images of the Green River, Ron. Is that it right there? If you do a quick Google search on US 2 and Washington, it really is beautiful. Here's the difficult thing, and Ron, you know this, and my husband's from Washington State as well. We had this discussion about this the other day, and we thought this is a time of year where a lot of these people in Washington would normally get snow. So if the temperatures were colder and they had these huge storm systems move in, they would be having a lot of snow,
That'd
like on the ski, on the ski mountains. The same thing with Utah. The temperatures, unfortunately, we're having a warmer winter here in Arizona.
Right.
The temps here, the temps in Utah, the temperatures in Washington State are so warm that what some of us would experience in snow, unfortunately, you have all this rain.
And you know what's really crazy about it? I did see one report that indicated that Canada, as you go north, over the next, say, 4 days, could get 10 feet of snow up in their mountains.
Wow.
Can you imagine? And there'll be some in Washington, but not near to that level. So, matter of fact, I think we do have some of the pictures of what they've been dealing with the blizzard-like conditions in Canada. And this was out there in Alberta. How'd you like to try to even drive in weather like that? I mean, we're looking at 80 degrees today and for the next couple days. Yeah, it's almost impossible. Okay, so there you go. There's our top story. We are going to be visiting next with a member of the Flagstaff City Council, supportive of the cameras, but deciding to vote no on them. And speaking of cameras, Celeste, it's mystery cam time.
Oh, the best time.
Don't shut this one down. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mystery Cam time. I love this picture, Celeste. I don't know why exactly, but I just like the cloudy skies. I like the curve in the road. I like the snow, but it's starting to melt. And what's that over to the right? Maybe like an old-fashioned basketball arena?
Maybe. I have like it almost seems like it could even be like a college town.
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah, like maybe it's a college arena or something like that. You see a couple people walking down the road. But you're right, though. It's very picturesque.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of great features.
Yeah.
In this image.
Okay, now let's see. Linda Montearth, who, by the way, if you follow her on Instagram, she and her hubby went down to the giving machine. You know, they have these set up all over, and they've got one out there in the Gila Valley. So, Linda, I thought that was a super cool post on your part.
That's awesome.
Anyway, she says Washington, Halakita, who's hard to go against Halakita. She says Indiana. What else you seeing, Celeste?
So Thomas Brown says Ohio, Pennsylvania, or Ohio, says Brandy the Bookworm. Troy says Seattle, UW.
Oh, nice.
He says that's a good guess.
Yeah.
South Dakota from B. Miguel and Kansas from Louis Gonzalez. Darla Nicole is chiming in. She says Donovan, who's hanging with her there. They watch together now, Ron.
That's the way to do it.
She says Donovan says Orlando. I'm saying New Hampshire.
All we ask is that you phone a friend and invite them to come over to the house, and you guys both watch the world's most popular Phoenix-based streaming show on the online.
You know
together.
What? Maybe all of you in the chat box are talking about getting together to watch, like a watch party.
That's right.
Maybe we can do like a big FaceTime party.
There you go.
Or something like that.
I love
live.
It. Okay, so you know what we do here on this streaming show? We bring you the big guest on the days that there are important news stories to cover.
Yes.
And that is why we are going to bring in Flagstaff City Council member right now joining us. They're from Flagstaff with just a little more perspective. This is Lori Matthews. Hi, Lori. Thanks for your time.
Hi, thank you for having me.
For sure. All right, let's talk about this. Was a big controversy up there in Flagstaff. Cities across the country are using these license plate readers. The police say they work. They help them when it comes, so they need all the tools they can to try to solve crime. So why was there a unanimous vote against it?
Well, the biggest reason was that we have a great community up here in Flagstaff, and they are very engaged in city governance. And there was just an overwhelming amount of concerned citizens that didn't have the level of trust with our flock cameras, and just were really concerned about the privacy issue. I had taken a tour of the flock camera system, went and saw where they were positioned, and saw the software, and where we gained a lot of confidence there, we just failed to bring the full community along to let them know what checks and balances we have put in, and transparency and stuff. And we're here to represent our community, and if our community doesn't feel confident in something we're looking to continue, then we had to vote no. I was very in favor of the flock cameras, but I wanted to honor our community. We heard from hundreds of people that just didn't feel safe from all the things that had happened in the past, and I thought that we had mitigated them, but they just didn't have the confidence, so it wasn't the right time to continue that, and we certainly weren't going to ignore our community.
When you say from all the things that had happened in the past, what were some of those things?
Well, some of the things that people had researched were, I think there was an incident in maybe Texas where a law enforcement officer had used the flock cameras to track an ex-spouse or girlfriend. There was some other, whether true stories or not, on social media of misuse, tracking people's whereabouts for nefarious reasons. It's interesting because Meta has 52,000 privacy data points that they track with us, and Flock has 8. And the Flock cameras that we use, at least in our system that we chose, takes a picture of the license plate, knows the make and model of the car, the color of the car, if there's any dents, what direction the car is going in, and a timestamp. That's it. It doesn't, is not able to identify who's in the car, who owns the car. So it's been a really beneficial tool for our law enforcement. We've actually had the cameras for over a year. Recently, I think a month ago, we were able to rescue a 1-year-old baby that had been kidnapped out of California using the flock cameras.
Really?
Yeah. And there was a hit and run murder in Flagstaff in the middle of the night, and we would have probably never have found the person who hit and killed this victim if it wasn't for the flock cameras. So, we didn't do a great job of really honoring the victims and understanding the impact of just another tool in the toolbox for our law enforcement. They clearly have to do other things after they get a hit through the flock camera to then identify the person, see if the person in the vehicle is actually the perpetrator of the crime they're expected to have committed. And so I'm disappointed, actually, that we didn't get it passed, because we're between the 40 and the 17. We have a lot of criminal activities that go through our streets that a lot of people aren't aware of. And our law enforcement's great, and they'll still do a great job, but this would have been really beneficial if we could have continued.
And so I know every member of the council has spoken out, in support of Flagstaff Police, but what are you hearing from either rank-and-file members of the department or detectives or even the police chief now about this tool being removed from their toolkit?
I haven't heard directly from the chief. I did send him an email, actually, just letting him know that I was sorry that the decision went the way it was. And I know how hard he has worked to meet our criteria. We asked a month ago to do some certain things, take us off the national sharing, take us off the state sharing. We were only going to share information from in between the county, the Navajo Nation, and NAU, our university up here in Flagstaff. So he put a lot of guardrails on per our request, and then we still voted no on it after he had done everything we'd asked. We even did a technology task force to let local citizens be on the task force to add oversight to our system and go from there, but didn't happen.
We have a couple of people in our chat box. I had posed the question to them, and I said, are you in favor of these cameras? And a few of them said, yes, we are in favor because it helps solve crime. So I think you do have some support out there. A couple of questions. One is, where were these cameras situated? We're looking at video of just them downtown. And what were some of the people saying in support of it? Was it because of the crime and that it helps solve some of the crime? I know Flagstaff is a growing community.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it's support of crime. And I had a lot of people approach me that were very in favor of continuing the flock camera system, but were fearful to make public comments just because, we are in a very sensitive political environment these days, and they just did not feel comfortable in letting their voices be heard. And that was unfortunate because the result was that we discontinued the contract.
Well, then, just to wrap up in our last minute or so, what do you need to see as a decision maker here that would get you back on board to get those cameras operating again and being helpful to the police?
I actually have great confidence. We hear about security breaches in large corporations periodically all the time. Nothing's guaranteed, but we put a lot of protocols in. Our IT department, it was really on it. So I think to ever get this back into the conversation, the city as a whole will need to do a better job of educating our community in the difference between what they're reading and researching on the internet and what we have done to mitigate that, and the difference, and build up that community confidence before we could move forward.
Ron, if I could ask just one quick question. I think there's some chatter going on in our chat about, is anything we do in public any really private anyways? Question for you is, do the cameras do they take photos just of the license plate, or are they taking video of whatever you're doing in your vehicle?
All the cameras are positioned to take pictures of the back of a vehicle, and it gathers, I think it's 7 data points. So it gets obviously the license plate number, the make and model of the vehicle, the color of the vehicle, if there's any dents or any identifying marks on the vehicle, what direction it's going in, and a timestamp. It doesn't give any information. It doesn't know any information on who owns the vehicle, who's in the vehicle, or any of that information. It's very benign. And then the law enforcement takes that and then uses other tools to then move forward. And we have, like I said, I think there's been 319 crimes that were impacted and helped solve through the flock cameras in just this last year here in Flagstaff.
In Flagstaff. Wow. Okay. Really interesting info. We'll stay in touch with you as the, maybe the controversy dies down for a little while. Who knows?
Maybe
it perks back up. But we really appreciate your input on it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Okay, so then, Celeste, there's another story before we go to break. By the way, don't worry. We're going to get you the answer on the mystery cam coming right out of the break. But big news, I think, out of Sky Harbor Airport, Celeste. This is incredible to me. Mm-hmm. They are now saying that simply by removing some red tape. Oh, look, there's the schematic here on how things maybe are going to look in the future at Sky Harbor. Just by removing some of the red tape, they're going to be able to speed up that new terminal by not 3 weeks or 3 months, by 3 years.
Wow. What is that? How does that happen?
Well, there must be a lot of bureaucrats in Washington who want to sign off on stuff like this. Who knows? Anyway, the word came in late yesterday. Basically, what it's going to do is kind of continue on from Terminal 3 and connect to where Terminal 2 used to be, which is just a big parking lot now. And what it's going to do is allow the Valley to finally have a lot more international flights, because that will be the place where you're processed if you're heading overseas or coming in from overseas, which a lot of the big airports are doing now. They have these designated areas, plus a bunch of new gates, and that's going to help as well.
Where's the money coming from, though?
You know what I
mean? Like to speed something up, you got to spend more money.
I think the airlines pay enough fees to Sky Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Now we got to go to a break anyway. But just a reminder, the answer on the mystery cam right after this break. Don't go away. right. Are you sick and tired of looking at the mystery cam?
No, let's go there now, Ron.
Let's do it. All right. So, Celeste, we had a lot of great guesses from everybody. And I think I'm going to go. So, with the snow and everything, but it's melting, I think I'm going to go Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah. How about you?
I'll go Illinois.
Okay. We have an Indiana and an Illinois. And here comes the answer, everybody.
Here is
the mystery camp. Ooh, we can hear
Indiana.
The is it really?
South Bend. Oh,
it's Halakita.
It was a college campus. That must be Notre Dame in South Bend, isn't it? Notre Dame.
Is it South Bend?
Yeah, it's South Bend.
Okay, yeah, that's got to be Notre Dame.
This is where Rudy played football.
Oh, that's so great. Well,
that is one of the best movies. Did you cry at the end?
At Rudy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, I saw it 3 times, and I knew what was coming, and I still shed a tear. On the second and the third time.
Ron.
It was right when he gets the letter that says you're in.
Yeah.
And he goes to his dad, who's a steel worker in Pittsburgh. His dad's so proud. And it's just like, it chokes me up every time.
Ron, women love a man who's in touch with his feminine
side. Well, I think crying 3 times in a row is a little too much. We welcome you back.
We do not judge here, by the way.
No, we don't. But we did want to congrats to Halakita. We also wanted to talk about, as promised, the president's speech last night. So we are going to be listening in to some of what he had to say. If you missed any of it, it's certainly getting a lot of talk this morning. Roll it.
Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen.
President Trump can say whatever he wants on camera, but the reality is for Americans across the country that costs are up, unemployment is rising.
The condition of the economy, the latest Fox News poll, only 28% say it's good to excellent. More than 70% say it's fair to poor. And, I thought it was interesting, Celeste. By the way, Kenzie joins as well. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, you guys. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
One of our favorite guests here.
Happy to be here.
I did think it was interesting that he said, if you'll hold on a little bit longer, next year, when you get your tax refund, because people start filing next month, right, at the end of January, you're going to see a bigger refund because of the tax cuts, plus no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. So will that be enough to kind of turn around his poll numbers? We'll have to wait to see.
Thank goodness. The tax on tips thing, it's going to save a lot of people.
Kenzie, yesterday we brought up the idea of putting a tip jar, like a curved glass jar.
Oh, that is a great idea. And then guess.
Would it go about there?
I think right here where it's in reaching distance for everyone. And then no tax on it.
No tax on the tips.
Correct. The only problem is it's like Fort Knox for people trying to even get into our buildings. I don't think
maybe you could put it just outside the building.
Just on the sidewalk.
Tip jar. We can all split it.
It'll survive a whole 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Somebody downtown will pick it up on the way.
Bolt it into the building.
No, I mean, we just put it out there with a little sign that says, you're on the honor system.
Yeah, and then
you take it and leave it,
Dave, what are you
it's like one of those libraries.
I don't know if the honor system will be enough, guys.
And maybe we can put it right next to the suggestion box.
Okay, for sure.
Take some, leave some.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so anyway, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's still almost a year to go before this upcoming election, but he's underwater right now. He also did tease that, which is what in our business we call a preview sort of coming attractions. He's going to have some plan about housing because rent prices
are through the
roof. Mortgage prices are so crazy. So we'll see how that all goes. My idea is to work with like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and those, and just put a huge fund together that can help people buy down their interest rate. You know, if you go to these home builders now, like out in Apache Junction where they're building all those houses, you can go buy a house and get interest rates at more like 2 or 3%.
Wow.
And then they go up once every year to when it hits the market rate.
Right, right.
So what about just for if you're not buying a brand new home in a boom town, but you just want to, something that could get that mortgage rate down even 1 point from 6 down to 5%.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have a 3% mortgage, you guys, what's the magic number to where you would say, okay, it's close enough. I'll actually think about moving. Kins, what do you think? Got a 3%?
Moving to like
you're going to buy a new house,
Apache Junction.
but you don't want to sell your existing house because you're locked
like,
into 3%.
I'm not moving.
I'm just thinking about the commute to work. I mean, if I could live out there and didn't have to commute to work, I think that's part of it. Even right now, I come in about, it takes me 40 minutes to get to work. The traffic
But
is...
we have audiobooks.
You know what we could do? Well, I'll move my family out there.
Yeah.
Let me know how it goes.
And then we can carpool into work.
Oh, we'll go together? Okay, I was going to say you let me know
work for the morning show.
Yeah, all right. We better get rolling here on the rest of the news.
But the interest rates, they sounded great. It is very appetizing.
I think around 5%. If you got a 3%, you're not moving at 7%.
No, it's got to be really good.
Yeah.
All right. Let me bring in these live pics here. This is going to be ENG23, I believe. Yeah. So the feed is up and ready to go. We'd originally been alerted by the state, or by the county, rather, to stand by one of the most notorious serial killer cases in Maricopa County in our history.
Yep.
A man already convicted of killing 8 people. And Kins, you've covered this, I know.
Yeah.
This goes back many years, but he's about to be sentenced.
Yeah, this goes back to 2017. He was convicted back in September. We were inside that courtroom. Of those 8 people, it also includes his mother and his stepfather. Back at that conviction in September, we heard from so many of these victims' families, but he went on a killing spree. And now today, he will be sentenced. That verdict expected to be read here in the next hour or so. The same jury that convicted him on the 8 counts of murder, they're also going to be deciding if the death penalty is on the table today. So we're waiting to hear from this jury, but there he is right there. His name is Cleophus Cooksey Jr. This was a long time coming for these victims' families.
Yeah. It's been many, many years. Were any of the victims' families in the courtroom?
A lot of them. And we spoke to a lot of them in September. And when, that was very emotional for these families. They've waited almost 10 years. Like I said, this happened back in 2017. So a lot of these people were mothers, fathers, so their kids were sitting in that courtroom. And speaking to a lot of them in September, expected to also hear from some of them maybe even today.
So when you were chatting with them back in September, did you happen to ask any of them if they have an opinion on how they want to see the sentencing go?
A lot of them, look at, these are the people's lives that he took and so violently.
And I know the good book says we're supposed to forgive.
Yeah.
Like, and Erica Kirk, we all watched that, and that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
A week later, she said she forgave the killer. Oh, that's right. But I don't think I could. If I had a family member that was, I don't think I could forgive.
Some of the people I talked to said, either way, it doesn't bring my mother back or it doesn't bring my son back. So I think for a lot of these families, it gave them closure knowing that he was finally convicted for these killings and what he's taken from these families. But then today, the sentencing, a lot of people are waiting to hear whether he will receive the death penalty.
Are they in favor, not in favor? What was
it was kind of a mixed review. Consensus? Mixed review from the families. Yeah. We're curious to see if there will be victim impact statements today.
Oh, yeah. That has not happened yet.
No.
Because so far it's just been the verdict.
Yep.
Oh, so this actually, even if it starts at 11, which, it always seems like it takes longer, but that could actually push it several hours because there have been so many murders. And they were all basically we showed that map a minute ago, but they were all basically kind of focused in one part of town.
Yeah, they were. And some of them were very random. Yeah. It started with his mother and his stepfather. And kind of trickled from there. But some of the people, you know, was a mother that was, you know, at the end of her work day walking to her car, or just, I mean, random people to him besides his mother and his stepfather.
Was there any type of information that came out of the court, like a motive, or just he had any reason why?
For a lot of the other victims, it was completely unclear because he didn't know them, and some of them were just so brutal and vicious.
Which is the way it goes with serial killer cases so often. You know, I mean, you got detectives doing great work, but try to get inside the mind of a killer is, you know, hundreds of books that are out there and lots of podcasts, et cetera. But it is, unless they're willing to just put it all out there. Yep. Would he be speaking today as well, or is it?
I don't think we expect to hear from him. One thing I think will be interesting is if we're able to hear from this jury once they leave the courtroom.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. They just showed the map there, but it came and went so fast. But go ahead.
Yeah, so one thing will be interesting to see if we hear from this jury, because typically, or sometimes after a verdict is read and decided by this jury, we are able to get them outside of the courtroom and how they came to this decision and what that was like for these jurors. But there's been two parts to this. Now this jury is also a part of the sentencing, deciding if he will receive the death penalty. So after they make that decision today and after he is sentenced, typically sometimes we see those jurors exiting the courtroom and we can hear from them as well.
Okay.
Just an awful case.
Well, you've done a really good job covering it for us. Looks like we'll be watching for your coverage later today on Fox 10.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Kenzie. By the way, just as background on all of that, it all began November the 27th, right around Thanksgiving, I think just within a few days of Thanksgiving of the year 2017. And here we are now, all these years later, 8 years later. We're finally seeing, by the way, 2 men were found shot to death outside a car in a parking lot. And the whole thing ended weeks later when his own mom and stepdad were found dead in their apartment. So pretty grisly crime, Celeste. But
it is.
It looks like this is the final day of a long-running case.
I mean, it is heartbreaking, but I think for a lot of the family members, just bringing up the information on the case, I think it forces them to relive what has happened.
Well, that's a good point,
you know,
too. It's got to be so
and
emotional.
for those family members, just to kind of think about. So our prayers and thoughts go out to them. That is for absolute sure. So.
Okay, so we're taking a break, and by the way, coming up right after we're look at
this
that.
Is great.
Oh, I know right where that is. We show it like every couple of months. That's got to be Gatlinburg.
And they have an aquarium.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, pennies selling for $16 million. Has the world gone crazy, Celeste? We're going to talk to a Valley coin collector. He's going to give us the 411 and get all the answers about that. It's coming up on Fox 10 Talks.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. 10:45 this morning. And you are looking live at a beautiful Christmas tree. And we believe this is Tennessee this morning. I just want to say hello to all of you in the chat this morning and give you a big shout out for all of your convos in our chat box. I know some of you are talking food. Some of you are talking what you're doing for the holidays. And thank you all for liking the video and sharing it. And yes, it's Gatlinburg. So Ron Hoon was in fact correct. Buddha Sheep, good morning to you. Louis Gonzalez, Little Philosophy, good to see you, my friend. Charles David, some of you have been with Ron and I from the beginning, and we're so grateful for all of you. Linda Monterth, of course. Darla, good morning. Halakita, we love chatting with so many of you. Let us know what you're doing for the holidays as well as we have this gorgeous shot here with you. We have a number of different stories that we have coming up for you this morning. And of course, we're talking about pennies. Do you still have pennies? Do you collect pennies? Maybe you have a great big jar at your house where you throw in, any change you find, here and there in the couch, Ron.
Actually, I paid cash for something yesterday. Call me weird.
Okay.
But I had the grandsons with me.
Uh-huh.
And we like to go to Safeway and go to the deli and sit in that little cafe area behind the Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
They both got their sandwiches, and I went right to the salad bar.
Oh, I love a good salad bar.
It's really good. But anyway, I went home and I'm like, oh gosh, I've got like 4 pennies. What do I do? Hold on to them?
4 pennies?
Yes.
Did they have the Omega symbol on it, or what was it, infinity, or some sort of symbol they put on those pennies? It has been pretty interesting to see what has been the developments when it comes to the penny.
Yeah.
The fact that this is happening, I think Abraham Lincoln is rolling in his grave, but we love Lincoln.
We love Lincoln, that's for sure. And I've really been looking forward to this interview coming up now with Michael Beram. He's a big-time coin collector, runs an operation here in the Valley. Cactus Coin and Metals, and he's going to join us right now. We're going to get all the details, Celeste, on, a lot of people love the whole concept of coin collecting. There's Michael.
Yes.
Do you go by Michael or Mike?
Michael.
Okay, Michael. It's Ron and Celeste. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Were you surprised at the demand for these final pennies? I mean, the stories we heard were that they sold for like $16 million.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising. That's pretty amazing that those went for $16 million in auction.
Yeah. Okay, but what would make them that valuable?
Well, they're the final pennies. So there's only those last ones out there, and one lucky person's going to get them. Well, not lucky, but they bought them, but
right.
The only ones that are going to be out there.
Were there 5 of them? Was that the grand total? The ones with the little Omega? What did you hear?
Yeah, I thought there was. I didn't look into it too much. I just remember seeing the post with like 3 of them on there. But yeah, there might have been 3 or 5. But regardless, that's it. Those are the last ones.
Michael, you mentioned the word luck, and it reminded me of something Brandy the Bookworm in our chat said. She said, and this, of course, was something we've been saying for decades, see a penny, pick it up all day long, you'll have good luck.
Yeah.
So some lucky people, they were maybe, get these pennies. What are some of the, you're in the coin collecting business. What's your thought process on this? Are you sad to see the penny go? Were you hoping that it would have a longer life?
Is sad to see it go, just because I deal with pennies that date back, all the way to the 1800s.
Wow.
And, we don't deal with too many modern pennies, but just to see it gone is kind of sad. But I guess seeing it from another perspective, it does kind of make sense to do away with the penny. Haha, makes sense. But yeah, if it costs too much to manufacture a penny, then that would, make sense to stop doing that.
So what would make some other pennies, like you said, you deal with ones that go all the way back maybe to the 1800s. Tell us about 2 or 3 of them. I don't know whether you have them, available there, but what are a few that are real standouts in terms of most in demand by collectors?
Well, if you go back to like the wheat pennies, which are like 1909 to like 1958, you have a few key dates there that you can look out for. 1909S VDB is the biggest one. There's a couple other better ones, but like the 09S VDB is the big one. Even before that, you have Indian head pennies. Before that, you have large cents, which are actually like kind of like quarter sized. So They used to be a lot bigger. And all those from the 1800s are pretty sought after.
So how did you get into the coin biz? Were you little, loved coins? Remember that when you had to roll coins, like you roll the pennies, 50 pennies in a roll, and then took them to the bank. How did you get into it?
Yeah, exactly. Just as a kid, I remember my dad would give me coins, and he'd buy me like a quarter book, and I would fill the books up. So just kind of got into it that way. And then when I got older, I went to college, and then when I graduated college, I was still into coins. I loved coins. I started buying and selling coins, and so then from there we started this family business, Cactus Coin and Metals. We're here on 3rd Avenue in McDowell. You guys should check our shop out. Very cool. A lot of friendly staff. So
I feel like there are not enough dads out there doing that anymore, where they buy those little, trifolds, and you can stick the coins in it. So good for your dad for getting them started. What would you say? You just mentioned 1909S VDB, or coins that even go back into the 1800s. What kind of value? I mean, obviously face value's a penny, 1 cent, but what kind of values do they have?
Yeah, I mean, like an 09S VDB, and condition is everything in coins, so it's hard to say without seeing what the condition is of the coin. But even in a bad condition, a 09S VDB could be $500, $800,
wow.
All the way up. It's so.
That is wild. Okay, we have a question from someone in our chat for you, Michael. Buddha
Sure.
Sheep says, what happens now when the change is less than a nickel? What are your thoughts on that? Do we just then use Apple Pay? You know what I mean?
Well,
or keep
I
the
think
change?
what stores need to be doing is probably stop charging like $3.99 for something.
Yeah.
And, round it out at 5 cents instead of, an odd number, so that we can, just give nickels instead of pennies.
Yeah.
So that would make it a lot easier.
Well, let's
But
hope
I mean, there's still millions of pennies out there. So
That's true.
What is the most valuable coin that you have ever personally seen or held or even had available at your store?
The most valuable coin. Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys track the price of gold, but gold is over $4,000 an ounce.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
an ounce is about this size in my hand. So that right there is holding $4,000. And if you get a tube of them, that's 4,000 times 20. So that's 50,000 you're holding in your hand.
Of gold coins.
Yes.
Of pure gold.
Oh, I was
coins.
thinking gold bars, Ron. Everybody, you have gold bars.
Sure I do. Sitting at my house. Yeah, no, they're underneath my desk here at work.
That's what's filling my mattress.
I'm sorry. My math was wrong, by the way. 80,000, not 50,000.
Yeah, well, there you go. So what are the key things that people should remember or consider if they're going to get into coin collecting?
I think just start out basic, start out with stuff that you can afford. Buy, $5, $10 coins, fill your books up, get one of each year, and then just start upgrading. Once you get all of one series, just start upgrading them. Maybe one is not, it's kind of in bad shape. Just upgrade that one and then go to a new series. Just start basic.
Okay, but now here's a question that I thought about. Who knows what the election will turn out in 2028?
Right.
Maybe this really is the last penny that was ever produced. But you're going to have a new president who can call his own shots in 2028.
Can he bring it back?
Michael, what would happen if another president came in and said, that's nonsense, we're going to go back to having pennies, people like holding on to them? Wouldn't the value of those Omega pennies drop by a lot?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess that would be the case. But those were the only ones that were made, in the holder, the PCGS holder. Those were truly the only ones that are like that. So I think, probably they would drop down in value quite a bit. And that's one thing about the collectibles business, is that it goes up and down just like every other market.
That's so true. Well, you know what? We're so happy that your dad, kind of planted that seed
in
terms of loving, the coins and the pennies.
Sure.
Because now you have this great business that you've been able to. There's something about having passion for what you do.
Yeah, and you obviously do. That's for sure.
Way to go, Dad.
Okay, thank you, Michael. A lot of great info there. Appreciate your time.
Merry Christmas, Michael.
Merry Christmas.
I hope Santa brings you pennies.
Hey, by the way,
yeah
really. What am I going to do with those extra 4 that I got yesterday at Safeway? So, Celeste, speaking of spending,
yes,
coins, dollars, credit card, whatever, did you hear about this Instacart investigation?
Uh-oh.
Holy schmolies,
What's happening?
man. Ready? Let's get right to it here. So, Instacart is, according to Reuters reporting, under active investigation by the federal government over an AI-powered pricing tool called Eversight. It was prompted by a study that found there are price differences for each person that gets online and tries to buy. The study was a months-long investigation by a group, including Consumer Reports, finding that people go on to Instacart and the price they pay could vary based on what AI thinks you got by as much as 23%.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable. And so, we'll see where the investigation goes, but the government has called for a civil investigation into Instacart. And, people, unless there are investigations, if there's no law against this, it's just going to happen.
Somebody has to regulate the system.
And somebody found out about it. There must have been a couple of friends. They're both on Instacart one day and they're both trying to buy craft singles. How come one of them's paying, $5.99 and the other is paying $6.88?
Okay.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Right?
You know what else is crazy, Ron?
Yeah.
Workouts during the show. Okay, so here's the next story for you.
Okay,
Yeah. So we work out on the show. We had Famisha on the air this morning on AZAM.
Yeah.
And they always say, hey, wear your workout clothes. And
nice.
I brought some workout pants, but I forgot my workout shirt. And I always keep my Fox 10 Talks shirt handy.
That looks so good on you, Celeste.
And so this is my Fox 10 Talks T-shirt pick.
Oh, good.
Louis Gonzalez reminded me of it because he was watching this morning on AZAM. This was in our 8 a.m. hour. And there you go. Got to work out it. See, that shirt can be worn in many places.
Celeste, and the thing about it was a good hard workout and you never even sweated. Never let them see you sweat.
That means actually it was not a good workout. But we love seeing your pics, by the way. Keep sending them in when you get those photos, everyone.
All right, here comes Ty and Anita in 2 minutes.
The cameras are always mixed up.
It's okay.
So I apologize.
It's okay.
Welcome on in to Fox 10 Talks at 11. It is Thursday, and we have got a lot going on. A lot of breaking news could potentially be happening during this show, so I want to just dip in real quick. This is what we are waiting for. This is the sentencing of Cleophus Cooksey Jr.
Yep.
He is
convicted serial killer. This is back in 2017, and he was found guilty a couple of months ago. And so now the jury has the decision as to whether or not he will be facing the death sentence. So we are waiting for that information.
So as soon as that breaks in, we are going to, or as soon as that begins, we are going to break in so we can kind of let you know what's happening in court. But we've got a guest in studio here with us this morning. We have Mike Belkind. He is a family nurse practitioner.
Hi.
And
hey guys,
can someone help me with these shots, because none of these are working.
3-shot. Can we get a 3?
There's more.
Bear with us,
There's
Mike. Some days it's really smooth, and other days it's
great.
not.
I love it. It's an icebreaker. I like it.
It's really easygoing, right? You're a nurse practitioner, and you also focus on like hormone and medicine.
Yeah, we fix hormones and metabolic health in my clinic is what I like to say, right? So hormones are one of the tools, and it just help people be healthier, live longer, happier lives, and improve health span. We like to say, health span is more important than lifespan. So, getting the most out of your years.
I think when I thought hormones, you think like 12, 13, kids going through puberty, but hormones affect you through life, and hormones like testosterone affect both men and women.
Absolutely. And more importantly, as things change and as we age or as you experience health conditions, those hormones can decline. So replacing them, it can really improve health and just improve life in general. And that's part of what the FDA wanted to talk about.
And that's what I wanted to bring up, because there's been some changes when it comes to these different types of hormones. Is that correct, as far as the FDA is concerned?
Yeah. So December 10th, so very recently, FDA held this, this public expert panel with testosterone experts to just kind of convene and talk about some changes that need to be made. Because for years, it was interesting because they opened up saying, basically, for years we've been wrong about all this. So it's been about 40 years. And they've now kind of turned it around and correcting some things. So as it stands now, testosterone is a controlled substance, making it difficult to obtain, making it difficult for your doctor, your provider to prescribe. So there's some barriers to care there, and that's really one of the big things that they wanted to discuss.
So go back and who would need testosterone? Why are people prescribed or taking testosterone, especially men? Because that's what we're looking at in this study. And what was going on the past 40 years that they're now saying is wrong? Right.
So interestingly, the current indications say you have to have some really specific indications for low testosterone for specific reasons to be treated for it. But people people experience low testosterone just as part of aging. It's just something that happens. It falls off. So one of the things that this panel strongly recommended is that we do add that to an indication. Say, why can't we use it to improve aging? They also pointed out how studies show that it improves almost every aspect of healthy aging. Right, so it decreases obesity, decreases diabetes, decreases all-cause mortality, decreases fracture risk, increases lean muscle mass, which prevents frailty. So you have all these wonderful things it can do for aging. But the way it's labeled right now, we say, hey, we can't just give it to you simply for aging and decreased testosterone. So these folks really wanted to highlight that.
And it's a simple blood test that can be done to check if you're a male, if you have low T, right?
Right. So it's a simple test. One of the more important things, though, is there's more than one test that should be run.
Oh, okay.
So one of the barriers we see is people who go to their primary care physician, and this was also addressed in there too. It's just not something that's really taught well in medical school or in medical education in general. So you go into your doctor, if you're lucky, maybe they'll check a total testosterone on you. That's not the only important number. A free testosterone is a far more important number.
What's it called?
It's called a free testosterone.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So it's the amount of testosterone that's actually available and floating around in your bloodstream that's not bound up. So it's what your body can actually use. So for most folks, as they age, total testosterone might even stay the same. It drops a little bit, but free testosterone drops far faster. And that's something you really need to keep an eye on.
I think it's interesting because we're not...
We got to go. Cooksey is being sentenced right now, so we're going to dip in real quick. Mike, just hold tight.
Sure.
And we're going to jump in real quick to see the sentencing underway as we speak.
The clerk will read and record the verdicts.
Superior Court of Arizona, Maricopa County, State of Arizona versus Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, CR 2018-001-296-001. Penalty phase verdict, count 1. Regarding the charge of first-degree murder, Parker Smith, against defendant Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to death. Signed, the foreperson. Penalty phase verdict, count 2. Regarding the charge of first-degree murder, Andrew Remillard, against defendant Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to death. Signed, the jury foreperson. Penalty phase verdict, count 3. Regarding the charge of first-degree murder, Salim Richards, against defendant Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to death. Signed, the jury foreperson. Penalty phase verdict, count 5. Regarding the charge of first-degree murder, LaTorri Beckford, against defendant Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to death. Signed, the jury foreperson. Penalty phase verdict, count 6. Regarding the charge of first-degree murder, Christopher Cameron, against defendant Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to death. Signed, the jury foreperson. Penalty phase verdict, count 8. Regarding the charge of first-degree murder, Maria Villanueva, against defendant Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to death. Signed, the jury foreperson. Penalty phase verdict, count 12. We, the jury, regarding the charge of first-degree murder, Renee Cooksey, against defendant Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to undecided. Signed, the jury foreperson. Penalty phase verdict, count 13. Regarding the charge of first-degree murder, Edward Nunn, against Cleophus Emmanuel Cooksey, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action and upon our oaths unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances of this case, that the defendant should be sentenced to undecided. Signed, the jury foreperson. For the 12 jurors that deliberated, are these your true verdicts, so say you one and all?
All right. I'm going to ask that my clerk poll the jury as to the 6 verdicts that you reached. The 2 undecided ones we aren't going to worry about. And again, the question is whether those are your true and correct verdicts. The answer is a simple yes or no, as the case may be. Madison?
Juror 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 5, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 6, are these your true and correct verdicts? Yes. Juror 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 12, are these your true?
Okay, that is the jury sentencing Cleophus Cooksey. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 death sentences, sentenced to death, and 2 undecided as of right now. So the judge is basically going and reaching out to each jury member to find out exactly what the circumstances were leading to the undecided verdicts.
And the photographer in the courtroom, I'm not sure who he is or who they are, but they were doing
Mark is in there.
We were watching, and he was basically just unexpressionless the entire time because I kept looking at his face. If he had any reaction, to the jurors, talking about those different sentences that are the death sentence that he is now going to be facing. So again, this is wrapping up in court. We have been waiting for this. This is obviously the victims have been waiting for this as well. These cases dating back to 2017.
Yes.
I see some folks in the chat asking why undecided. We have a reporter in the courtroom. We have actually asked them the exact same thing. So we'll try and get you some answers as far as why the jury may have found that those individuals or those specific counts, they decided undecided on those.
Yeah, so the killing spree began November 2017, as you mentioned, when 2 people were shot to death outside of a car in a parking lot. And so he was found guilty of killing a total of 8 people, including his mother and stepfather. And I do believe those were the 2 undecided in this case. So we will have further information and more coverage for you throughout the day and later editions of Fox 10 News.
All right.
Okay.
So, Mike.
Thanks for staying close.
With us. We appreciate you staying tight.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to kind of wrap everything up, I guess this is kind of a conversation that you probably just want to start with your healthcare provider, especially if you're a man getting a little bit older.
It is. And again, there's a little bit of a barrier there because there's not a whole lot. Your primary care provider doesn't know a lot about this. They haven't been educated on it. There's hopefully going to be some new things coming forward, following this meeting with some follow-up. Hopefully there'll be some follow-up panelist meetings like this. But the big takeaways here are, one, testosterone is currently a scheduled medication that's lumped in with other, medications like opioids and benzodiazepines and medications that have high addictive potential and cause a lot of harm. Testosterone itself has less addictive potential than something like caffeine, so it should never have been lumped in here in the first place, and that's something the FDA addressed too. The original reasons it was scheduled like that were pretty purely political. And it seems like they're gonna try to undo that, make this stuff more available to the people who need it, make access a little bit better. And again, to your point, I think one of the panels really did highlight that early screening is probably more important than we think it should, than it is, and it's something we should be doing.
Maybe even at a younger age. Very interesting. Sure. How do people get a hold of you to get a little bit of information, maybe even potential guidance? We've got about 30 seconds before we have a hard break.
Sure. So you could find me, at internet search for Men's Health Span. You'll find me there. You'll find my website, menshealthspan.com, on all the socials at Men's Health Span. I do have some video content available out there too. Great. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to, give me a call, shoot me an email. Let's talk.
All right,
yeah, it's
Mike.
important. It really is. And it does affect men and women.
For sure.
Right. Mike,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back in. We're going to keep things rolling, you guys. I don't know about you, I loved me some Crayola crayons as a kid.
I did. The big box of, what was it, 64? With the sharpener in the back. What was your favorite color?
Oh, cornflower. Isn't that the... No, I think there's a cornflower.
Sky blue and the silver. Boy, I died for that silver crayon.
I know.
My gosh.
So the reason we're talking about Crayola is because we have Cheri Sterman. She is, listen to this title. This is such a cool title. Crayola's Senior Director of Education.
Hi, Cheri.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us this morning.
Sure.
Let's get right into it. You guys are doing something pretty cool. It is called Crayola Creativity Week. Can you explain what that is, Cheri?
Sure. Creativity Week is a global celebration of creativity. It's a free program and easy to use and join. So we provide parents, educators, librarians with resources to nurture the children's creativity. It starts with videos that feature celebrities, and they explain why creativity is essential in their careers and their lives. And then we provide hands-on creative experiences for kids. It's easy to register and access all the materials. The program runs January 26th through February 1st, but the time to register is now because you start getting some of those resources to prepare and plan for the fun right away. You just go to Crayola.com/Creativity Week. And this year's talent is amazing. Jonathan and Drew Scott, also known as the Property Brothers, focus on collaboration. Questlove focuses on bracing ideas, really a champion of creativity. We have two global soccer stars, Harry Kane and Matt Turner, who talk about reaching team goals. We'll explore space with NASA astronauts and the Artemis flight commander, Charlie Blackwell Thompson. And then Sunday is a very special day. Bindi Irwin will be joining the artists who create the beloved Bluey and explain how Bluey comes to life.
Oh, everybody loves Bluey, Cheri.
Yep.
Hey, we love that this is free. Yeah, we love that this is free. Talk a little bit about why creativity is so absolutely important and why we want parents to instill this in their kids.
Creativity has always been important for children, but especially now in this current era where these little devices that we all have in our pockets can provide us with more information than we could possibly remember. At Crayola, we define creativity as putting your imagination into action, which is all about original thought and innovative solutions. So educators tell us that creativity is essential to prepare children to be future-ready citizens.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can you give us the website one more time if folks at home are maybe they're having their grandkids over the next couple of days? I mean, this is going to be kind of a great resource that they can tap into.
Crayola.com/Creativity Week.
All right.
Nice and easy. Thank you, Cheri. We appreciate it.
Hold up your phone case
one more
time for us.
We need that case.
That phone case is so cool. I love that. A box of crayons.
I know. I thought you were holding up a box of crayons at first.
One of the perks of working for Crayola, right, Cheri?
Right, that's right.
I love it.
I'm glad that you're encouraging your viewers to join because the long-lasting impacts are really powerful.
Sure.
Teachers that 80% of the kids who participated in Creativity Week have stronger curiosity and enthusiasm for learning. That's really powerful.
It is amazing. Thank you. We'll put that link up on the stream here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merry Christmas,
Happy holidays.
Cheri.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Another important story that we're talking about. This is Spencer's Place, and I don't know if you've ever been.
I have not been lucky enough to go out there.
It really is a remarkable spot. I did a community care segment out there last September where I got to meet Karen York, who is the founder and the owner of Spencer's Place, and she's joining us today with her husband, Chris. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
We thought we'd have a little bit more time and that we could play a little bit of the interviews, but tell us a little bit about Spencer and Spencer's Place and your background.
Okay. Well, Spencer is our 35-year-old son with Down syndrome, and he's the inspiration for Spencer's Place. I'm a special education teacher. I taught high school level for many years, and basically opened Spencer's Place to employ my former students and give them opportunities in the workforce.
You were finding that they simply, even though they were educated and willing and ready, businesses, people weren't willing to hire them because of their developmental disabilities.
Yes. The largest group of unemployed individuals are those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So yes, it was very frustrating and daunting. And so we love coffee, know coffee pretty well. So this seemed like a natural approach to employ them.
I love that. I have a nephew with special needs, and I think one of the things, he got his first job, and he had such a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
Going to work, doing a task, helping people. And I think that's so important for these individuals.
You are not wrong. It's what everybody wants. I mean, we live a short life in school. It feels like forever when we're in the thick of it. And then this biggest piece of our life is spent after school. And so those with disabilities that don't have a job or opportunities, oftentimes that stretch is forever. So yes, having what everybody else wants, just that piece of adulthood.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. When did you guys open up again with the shop?
So we were founded in 2019. We
Okay.
opened our doors at our first location in 2020.
Wow. And how many employees have come through the doors?
Oh my gosh.
A lot.
So yes, a lot. Altogether, we have served, in addition to having our employees that are paid competitively, a lot of them have been with us since the very beginning. There's very little turnover in what we do, which is a great problem to have, but a problem nonetheless because it's hard to get new people trained and employed. Altogether with our job training program that is in addition to our staffing, we have served over 200 people.
Wow.
Remarkable. You can't do it without the community, and unfortunately, that's part of the reason we brought you here.
Yes.
Is because business is not great. What's happening with that, Chris?
So just our Cotton Lane location.
Which is where?
It's at Cotton and Greenway in
Okay.
Surprise.
Yeah.
And that location doesn't get a lot of foot traffic, but it's where we do a lot of our job skills training. And it has the full commercial kitchen, so it allows kitchen skills, baking skills, knife skills, stuff like that. Along with foot traffic being low and then donations being low, it's at jeopardy. So
We don't want to close it.
No.
No.
Not at
I
all.
think that's the location where we met.
Yes.
And there was a young woman there in her 30s, and I did an interview with her, and I remember you were talking about your nephew, but also the pride she found that she made this coffee.
Yep.
She took this order,
Yes.
and she paid her cell phone bill.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
You know, and it just when she told me all of that, you could feel it.
Which is another caveat. We do things naturally because we're adults and we have bills to pay. But they get to pay their bills.
Yeah.
And
They want to
Who
pay their
says that?
bills. They want to.
Who says that?
Yeah.
But they do. They're contributors. They get to contribute. So often we're consumers and we consume, but they want to contribute. And they get to do that because they make real money. And, some of their families have become very reliant on that.
It's fantastic. And it gives them that independence, too, which I think is such a huge part of this as well.
Yes.
Independence and purpose.
Yes.
I mean,
And we all need purpose.
Absolutely.
We do.
So what happens if you close the doors to that shop? We hope that doesn't happen, but worst case scenario.
So we've talked to our staff. Our first location is doing quite well. It doesn't miss a beat. It's a really good walking neighborhood. That location has been successful. It's trying to carry the second location, which is 2 years old. And, we're depleting funds now, and I've started to cut back hours. And that's how this story broke loose. I finally had to tell our staff and their families that there would be a reduction in hours, and this is why. Before that, I've just been, and I still am very hopeful. And I didn't want to stress anyone out, and our staff are asking for more hours, and I'm reducing hours just at our Cotton Lane location. So, we're trying to be creative, maybe reduce our store hours altogether, reduce some days, expand our hours at our first location. Our Marley Park location, like I said, does really well. We just can't continue to hold both shops at this rate.
What can people do? What can the viewers do?
Ultimately, our job training program is funded by donations and grants. We're getting a lot of no's with our grants as of late. Grants that we typically applied for and were well received, they're just being inundated as well. But donations are great. Foot traffic is great. We need to stay busy.
Go buy some coffee.
Go buy some coffee.
Get caffeinated.
Coffee. We do.
What else
so
is
much
on the
more.
menu?
Oh my gosh, we have loaded seltzers, which are natural plant-based energy drinks.
There's smoothies.
Our team is so creative. We have so much fun.
Food.
We have a coffee flight.
Sandwiches.
We have food.
Breakfast sandwiches, burritos.
Yes, we have our bakery at Cotton Lane is a gluten-free bakery. So we do everything gluten-free, and it's so good. You can't even tell.
What is this like for you? I mean, I only imagine it must be difficult to kind of relay the message in a way that's understandable to these individuals. What was that like for you to be kind of have to be put in that situation?
And also as a mom,
she's gonna cry.
a mom.
I know. I shouldn't have asked that question.
So you're a business owner, you're the boss who loves her employees, but also you're a mom whose son has developmental disability, who might be in their shoes.
Right. Oh my gosh. So just knowing our staff so well, we have a group chat, and I'm with them every day, knowing them so well, and knowing that some of them are financially accountable for some things, for helping their families, and I have had to reduce quite a few hours, and they're asking for more hours, and they didn't understand. It took me a long time to admit, and it's hurting my pride. I'm super competitive. I'm like, we're the best, and we're a specialty coffee shop. We use organic beans. We take a lot of pride in quality, and just having to really admit that 70% of our staff are individuals with disabilities.
That's a lot.
And the reality of that is, if we were just a coffee shop, we'd be fine. But our need is to continue to support them, or I don't want to be there. It's not.
She carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I mean, that is a lot of weight, and so I hope that our viewers are very generous. So hopefully they can make a donation. Do you have a website where folks can find those locations, and then also where they can donate as well?
We do. Our nonprofit is Employed and Overjoyed Foundation.
By the way, that is a great
Isn't
name.
it though? It is, because it's true.
It was so crazy.
We've got about 20 seconds left. I apologize.
That's okay. Yes.
Website.
Okay, website. Employed and Overjoyed Foundation, and then SpencersPlace.com.
Okay.
SpencersPlaceAZ.com will get you to Employed and Overjoyed Foundation, or EmployedAndOverjoyedFoundation.org.
All right, well, we'll get it in the chat, too.
And they do have great coffee. I was there.
Yes.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, Des.
Hi, Ron.
We're going back to the tried and true. We used to do this a long time ago for Dean Fazzini and Kelly Laws, who's filling in today. We call it Dean's Choice or Kelly's Choice. Just start the show with a view from somewhere in this great country of ours. And you know what's really cool about this? Is you have the American flag flapping in the wind like crazy. The river is frozen. And off on the horizon is the city of Detroit. Yeah, just a little reminder of what life is like today, most likely in Buffalo, in your hometown.
Yeah. Oh, I don't envy them.
Yeah, no
It's
kidding.
Cold,
It's funny. I wish it was more Christmassy weather, Hanukkah weather, more like, in the 60s or 70s. But I'm not going to complain about. Hold on. I'm not going to complain about 80 degrees.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Right? Do we have much to complain about? I think folks in the colder parts of the country would say no. So,
I think you are right about that.
A little warmer than we'd expect it to be, but
sure.
still, it's the place to be.
All right. How's your morning? Oh, hold on. There we go. How's your morning been going?
It's great.
Yes?
Been good. Yeah. We
Where'd you
were at the Singletons, a Valley nonprofit here that is about 25 years old. They help specifically single parents who are battling cancer. So they just, man,
I know.
that puts a lot into perspective. But right now, this time of year, obviously with Christmas, they sponsor families or they find sponsors that sponsor a family and they provide Christmas for them. So gifts for the kids, gifts for mom or dad, whoever needs it this holiday season.
Okay, We're talking about people who are angels on earth. That's what we're talking about right there. Okay, breaking story just over the course of this last hour. You may have seen some of our coverage here, but, the guilty verdict was actually handed down in September. But anymore, when it's a capital murder case, the jury doesn't just go away. They then are tasked with deciding whether or not any of the cases that come before them, and this one of the most notorious serial killing cases in Valley history. Cleophus Cooksey Jr. was given by the jury the death penalty multiple times over. And the court records show that he was sentenced for the non-murder charges back in November, but he was convicted in September of killing 8 people. And, I asked our editor, Jeff, let me see if we have no, hold on here. Do we have, No, I just have the map. Look, if you guys would look and see, he might have just sent over a graphics of the map where the killings happened. Certainly not that. But anyway, he maintained, the defendant maintained his innocence, but was found guilty. All of these crimes happened, Des, back in the year 2017 in about a 2-week period. And, it ended... All right, here we go. Graphic 3. Let me just pop this up. It ended, the last one was December the 17th, and it started right around Thanksgiving. So it's literally like almost to the day of where we are in the calendar right here. People think about the holidays, and there's so many loved ones, so many family members impacted forever. And the victims, except for 2 of his own family members, all the other victims, it seemed for the most part, were just entirely random, in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And, how do you go from an aspiring musician to essentially a murderer? That's just chilling.
Yeah. Okay, so we did have that live coverage for you, and that was during Ty and Anita's half hour, but we'll have plenty more as Fox 10 Talks continues on, and especially on our noon broadcast and later 4, 5, and 6. Oh, there is one other thing that I think is really interesting, and it kind of ties into the same sort of a story, which is the Attorney General has made the decision to start moving ahead and more quickly now with the next execution of a death row inmate. And they have started the process for Leroy McGill, sentenced to die for a deadly attack where he viciously poured gasoline on 2 people in a North Phoenix neighborhood, set them on fire, 1 dead, the other survived, but with all of those burns. So the Attorney General, Chris Mays, says we're going to move forward with this, and the execution date she hopes will be set somewhere in March. But again, the process on these capital cases, it's just so long. That the killing itself happened in the year 2002.
Long time ago. And it was his roommates. They accused him of stealing a rifle, and then he comes back to, commit this heinous crime. Even went on to say that he mixed the gasoline with styrofoam, hoping that it would, stick to the victims. Just a terrible situation.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so those are a couple of the big news headlines that we've been talking about today. Now we are going to transition to something way more lighthearted here, that's for sure, because there was a major change happening from Hollywood when it comes to the Oscars.
Yeah.
Des. And you're not going to be able to find them on, I think...
It'll be on YouTube.
I don't, besides like the news channels from CNN to Fox,
Yep.
And a lot of football, I don't watch a lot of these award shows. I have to.
News and football. That's it.
News and football. Hey, but a lot of people do by the tens of millions, and there's
and
a
a
big
lot of people
change
around
coming.
the world want to watch.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we asked Clayton Davis with Variety if he would come join us today. What about this move to YouTube? It seems like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It is a big deal because I think the way that people are consuming content now, we can't just throw it up on a broadcast network. ABC has been a great partner for the Oscars for 50 plus years, but, it was time for a change. There is a demographic that is watching TV on their smartphones, on their devices. YouTube, more people watch YouTube on their TVs than actually on smartphones, which is interesting change that has happened over the last few years. And I think if the Academy wants to ensure that they last another 100 years, their 100th birthday is coming up in 2028. And if they want to be around for the next 100 years, they had to do a game-changing move, and I think this was the move to make.
Okay, I'm surprised. Do you know any event, the details kind of about the conversation that happened in the back room in the steps leading up to this partnership? Because you just mentioned 100 years in 2028. Did the Oscars try to get this switch over to happen on YouTube for that 100th birthday by chance?
No, so the ABC deal, they have runs until the 100th ceremony. So YouTube won't become the official broadcasting partner until the 101st ceremony, which is going to be 2029. So we still have 3 more years that it's going to be on traditional broadcast network. Variety had reported that there were 2 people at the table, and it was YouTube and NBC that were negotiating with the Academy. ABC was still in the talks towards the end, so we're told, but it really came down between NBC and YouTube. But the best way I can describe it for everyone is that YouTube is taking the entire family or adopting the entire family. They're not just taking the really good-looking daughter. They're going to be digitizing their entire archive.
Yeah.
That goes with the museum. They're really taking on everything that makes the Academy the Academy. The Academy is more than the show.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And talk about how this makes the experience of watching the Oscars different, because obviously on these streaming platforms and YouTube in particular, like now we've got our live chat going, so people are talking to each other, they're interacting with what they're watching.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great example, right? I think you'll. I don't know if we're gonna have the chat function going on during the YouTube Oscars. Maybe we will have it, but it is going to build engagement. There is a 2-screen system that people typically do work. Two-screen system that people are watching and applying when they are engaging with content. So we're gonna have all these different mechanisms in place. But one thing I want to note here, the Oscars can take the guardrails off, so to speak. You don't have to worry about runtime. You don't have to worry about dropping an F-bomb. You can really get a good host with a personality, a little edgier, and not have to worry about, censoring them or watering them down. This is not your grandmother's Oscars anymore. And, the evolution of the media landscape is changing, and the Oscars have to adapt to that too. I think this is a Hail Mary for sure, but I think it's the appropriate one at the moment.
Hey, let's talk about, there is a drama worthy of Hollywood playing out. We really wanted to get your take on this. The whole Warner Brothers Discovery. Netflix versus Paramount. Are people kind of choosing sides in Hollywood, or give us a little bit of the background as to why it's happening and what you're hearing from folks in the industry, which way they maybe want to see it go?
Sure. Warner Brothers right now is selling itself. David Zaslav is selling WBD to Netflix, accepted a nearly $87 billion deal. Paramount tried to come in, offer more money, but Warner Brothers just rejected that offer just in the last day or two. So the next move, honestly, is if Paramount wants to make an even larger offer, but it doesn't look like it's going that way. People in Hollywood and the ecosystem, if you speak to people in the industry, people will ask them, "Oh, which deal do you think is bad?" And people will just say both. I actually don't want either of them to get it because it's more concentration reduction of the studio system. We're losing a legacy studio. Netflix has spoken before in the past about not really being pro-theatrical. Ted Sarandos, the CEO, has since changed that tune, and he says that he is going to be supporting theatrical. And one thing to note, what he's buying is WB, the studios, DC Studios, and HBO. He's not getting Discovery in that deal. Paramount was offering to buy everything. So either way, David Zaslav and everyone that's up there at WBD, they're going to get a lot of money out of this deal. And I think, it's going to take a while before this merger closes because he's still splitting Warner Brothers and Discovery into two, even though we just merged them about 2-3 years ago. I don't know if I've seen a company merge to unmerge again in such a succession.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I know you've got about 3 movies that you're keeping track of that are the most likely on the short list for the upcoming Picture of the Year. Between One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Hamnet. Can you stick around right after the break? I think Des and I would love to, with your insider take on it, which one you think might actually win the big prize. You got about 3 more minutes for us?
Yeah, for you guys, I will.
For us, Des, how about that?
Our lucky day.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we are going to continue in just the next couple of minutes with Clayton Davis with the very latest coming out of Variety and Hollywood. But here's your mystery cam, everybody, and it's another chilly place in the USA. Give us your guesses back in a flash. And we welcome you back. Mystery Cam time, Des. I think almost every one of these guesses that's coming in makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I think so. Louis Gonzalez thinks it might be Iowa.
Yeah.
B. Miguel, Ohio. Michigan, Linda. Brandy the Bookworm, thinking it might be Delaware.
Yeah. Halakita is like, could it be the Flint River in Michigan? You know, we just had the Detroit River when we started off the show. I think I'm going to go with Halakita and say it's Michigan. How about you, Des?
Okay, I'll go. Brandy, I'll go with you today. Delaware?
All right, here we go. And the answer is, let's see, right here she is.
Oh, it's Waukesha?
Oh, Waukesha. Here.
Waukesha.
Go ahead. Hold it up for everybody, right? Waukesha.
Waukesha, Wisconsin. No one guessed Wisconsin.
Yeah. Look, we were all around it, that's for sure. Hey, we were just enjoying our convo so much with Clayton from Variety. We thought we'd ask him to stick around a couple more minutes. It does seem, Clayton, like there are 3 movies that are getting so much buzz, and we're going to ask you to make a hot take, an early hot take here on any one of them. Is it going to be one battle after another? Is it going to be Sinners? Or, you know, and they're both getting so much talk. We've had other guests on the last few days say it's close between the two of them. But then this movie Hamnet, what's that about? And does it have a decent shot?
Yeah, so, I mean, listen, I always want to preface this that it is December and anything can happen between now and March. But the way the season has been operating so far, it looks like it is a very good possibility we're going to see one battle after another take home the top prize. Warner Brothers film, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, who has been nominated for 11 Oscars throughout his career, has never won. And people are huge fans of this movie. It's a big star vehicle with Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, Teyana Taylor. It has a really good shot, by my estimate, to tie the all-time record for most Oscar nominations in a single year, which is 14. Last time that happened was La La Land, and before that was Titanic. But the thing with Hamnet, and for anyone who's not familiar, it's inspired by the life of William Shakespeare and his wife Agnes, and the death of their son that inspired him to write the story, the play Hamlet. It is a tearjerker. It's very emotional. It's directed by Chloe Zhao, who became the first woman of color to win Best Director for Nomadland back in 2020. History could be made. She'll be the second woman to ever be nominated a second time. And then when it comes to Sinners, you got Ryan Coogler firing on all cylinders. He already made history with Black Panther, first superhero movie that was nominated for Best Picture. There have only been 6 Black directors ever nominated. He would be the 7th. And there is a large pocket of Hollywood that is rooting for him. That movie also could crack some double-digit numbers. I have it currently getting about 12 nominations, and there's still more room to grow. And it's a good representation of the horror genre, because we don't see horror get its due enough in this business.
Wow.
All right. Well, if you had to pick, Clayton, which of the 3 would you select?
I mean, my personal pick of those 3, I probably would vote for Sinners. It really is one of the best films of the year, a great cast, and I'm just a big fan of everything that is in the open of that movie, and then the subtext that does fly over people's heads. But I love to
and I love the music.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're big fans of yours. We hope you come on and join us here between.
Hope to have you back.
Yeah, between now and the awards ceremony. That's for sure. Clayton, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Okay, guess who is joining us now, everybody? Here he is, Johnny Noetzel.
Little drum roll.
Yeah, did we actually get a drum set in here, Des? What did I just?
No, just me.
You get a rim shot.
Yeah. Okay, so Johnny, what brings you in for a little visit with Des and I? Last time you were in, it was just so casual and conversational.
Yeah,
we love having you in.
We got some more episodes of The Great American Story coming out. They're dropping. Yeah. We just had one drop on YouTube about the Whiskey Rebellion.
Okay.
Which is, I'll just have people go and watch it because it's really fascinating stuff. But the cool thing is, and you and I have talked about this, is we've kind of a door is kind of open for us on this, because we have to search for content that's in the public domain, that's available to use, that's a lot of historical type footage for this show. Well, there's not a lot of footage from the 18th century. I mean, it just lets.
I know.
There's not a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Well, AI
In fact,
has.
when we were taping Des, I said to John, don't you wish that somebody had flown a drone over George Washington? So there were these farmers, they were really upset about a tax on their whiskey.
The Whiskey Rebellion, right?
And he was president. He's like, no, we're actually a government now. We're going to clamp down on you guys because they were tarring and feathering the tax collectors.
Yeah.
And I said, imagine an army, 13,000 men strong. If only there'd been one drone back in the day to fly over.
Yeah.
But John, you solved it.
Well, this is where AI has really helped us out. It can now visualize. You can go into AI and say, "Can you help me visualize this event from the 1794, which was the Whiskey
Can we
Rebellion?"
show
So,
it?
yeah, check this video. Look at this video.
This is going to blow your mind, Des.
This is George Washington
AI
marching.
as if there was a drone.
Look at that. So I basically
Look
said,
at the army in the background.
"Can you generate a video
That's
of
really
George
cool.
Washington?"
Yeah, what it
I mean,
looks like.
we're telling history, but AI is helping us do that. So it's really a cool. This is how this is a really useful tool, in my opinion. And pictures too. I mean, can you create an artist rendering of this? Can you, which is whiskey farmers basically back in the 18th century.
This thing, by the way, they were so angry about it, mostly in Western Pennsylvania, because it seemed like they were attacking them. And they're like, hey, we're poor farmers. Why do we have to pay the tax when the more wealthy people in the big cities like New York and Philadelphia, they're not getting hit? This could literally shut down our livelihoods. I think that's the home, John,
Yeah, that's
of
the
one
Neville
of the
House.
tax collectors.
It's the Neville House.
Yeah, who ends up, getting his house attacked and fleeing for his life.
Right.
It was one of the tax collectors.
It was one of the people enforcing the taxes. So, but again, I mean, there's not portraits of this. There aren't preserved things from that time period. So this is the cool thing, is that AI can actually, we're not rewriting history. We're just asking AI to help us show the history. We don't know what it looked like. We know that this John Noetzel rode off on a horse from his burning house. Well,
literally hid out in the hills as they were looking for him.
Right.
And he might not have lived through that night, but he did manage to hide.
And what is this?
This is all part of the Whiskey Rebellion and just the madness that ensued.
Well, and the other thing was that they were so angry about it. They actually had a convention in Pittsburgh, Des, to talk about seceding and creating their own nation as a result of all this.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, we're having fun with this show. It's great. Yeah.
John,
is that one the first that's dropping first?
So this one is already on YouTube and on Fox Local, so you can check this one out. And
go to YouTube and just type in Great American Story.
Absolutely. Okay. So this is our latest episode, and I'm actually working on one right now that Ron and I shot earlier this week.
Yeah.
Which is
What's that about?
We actually had a guest on, the legendary Lou Holtz football coach.
Truly one of the probably the 10 biggest names in all of college football.
Absolutely.
We got a half hour with him just a day or so
How
ago.
did you secure that?
Just some persistence and digging around.
I know the answer. About 48 emails, John. You were relentless.
He's the most gracious human on the planet. I mean, he's just such a cool guy, and he's 87 years old. He's lost the use of his legs, but he's just. His mind's just sharp as a tack, and it
was an honor.
It was.
Does he live here in the Valley?
Yeah, he's in Florida. So we did an interview over Zoom.
Okay.
But now here's the thing, Des. Here's how Johnny and I were a team on this. If I'm out and about in the hinterlands and I see a story that's kind of interesting, I look over at Renee and I'm like, honey, can we pull over and park? I got a battlefield. I want to only spend like 3 hours. Anyway, we're driving through Bedford, Pennsylvania, and come to find out the house where George Washington stayed still stands to this day.
During the Whiskey Rebellion.
During the Whiskey Rebellion. Here's a little clip of what I was able to put together here. And then, now, John, is it that place in Bedford, or are we going over?
This is the Espy House.
This is the Espy House.
Yep.
So this is where he's literally stayed.
There it is in a nutshell. The Espy House, built about 1771, was the headquarters of the president at the time, George Washington, October of 1794. when he came here to Bedford to review the troops assembled to quell the Whiskey Rebellion. This building, I was talking to my son Jordan a little while ago. He's like, Dad, touch it. This is the original building that was built. That was the headquarters of the President of the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, people got ticked over taxes even back in the 1700s,
I was going
right?
to say, well, it sounds like the problem of today.
It's nothing
and
new.
It hasn't changed.
Right. Nothing new.
So.
No, absolutely.
Wow.
So, yeah, so we're having fun with it. We got poll questions too, Ron, that we put up.
Yep, ready
on a regular basis.
These images are really
aren't they
awesome.
amazing?
Yeah,
really
that
cool.
is cool.
This is our latest poll question. So we're asking who is the most, who had the greatest overall impact as a college football coach, both on and off the field. And looks like Bear Bryant is winning that one pretty handily, but you see Lou Holtz is in a kind of distant
All
second
right,
there.
educate me. I don't know that.
Lou Holtz won a
about
national
football.
championship.
Where did Bear Bryant?
Alabama.
Like with
He's
Alabama.
the
Okay.
Alabama.
Tom Osborne?
Tom Osborne was Nebraska and also congressman. Lou Holtz was obviously Notre Dame and a number of other schools, and Bobby Bowden was Florida State.
Okay.
So
literally, it felt like we were talking to a living legend.
It did.
We were talking to him. Anyway, people have been voting in that one. You can go to YouTube right now to the Fox 10 Phoenix YouTube page and vote on it, John.
Indeed.
Is that correct?
Indeed.
And then what's your other one?
Oh, the other one we just finished was the national park, the best national park in the country, and we went through 4 weeks of
Yes, we had you on the last time. Yeah, when we were talking
this is
about
a final round. Everybody voted Yellowstone as the
really?
number one. I have to agree with that. Ron?
Yes,
Would you?
I would say yes.
You've been to more parks than I have, but
yeah, I've been to all of those. I mean, Glacier's spectacular. Yosemite, you're down in that valley. I thought the Grand Canyon would win.
I did too.
So
Most
why does Yellowstone take the cake for you
I
guys?
think Yellowstone's so unique with its thermal features, and I mean, there's wildlife everywhere. It's I mean,
the bison. You can't get out of the. There are traffic jams of bison, Des.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, especially during mating season. Yep. Don't try to interrupt anything that's happening.
Yeah, you
and don't approach the bison.
I was going to say, don't make them angry.
The cool thing, so what we're going to do, starting probably early next year, is we're going to go through all of our poll questions, and our Great American Story episodes are going to be based on the answers of the poll questions, leading up to the 250th anniversary of the country, July 4th. So,
hey, Des, why does it happen every time we have John on for like 12 or 13 minutes? It goes by so fast. We're out of time. Can you believe it? I know. Bring John back for more. We got to say goodbye, Des.
Yeah, we'll send you out with
everybody.
Wisconsin here. See you tomorrow.